Have you ever wondered why some truths are universally accepted yet still hotly debated? Like, we all know the sky is blue, right? But wait, why is the sky blue? It's these seemingly simple questions that can unlock surprisingly deep rabbit holes of thought. In this video, we're diving headfirst into 5 so-called universal truths that might make you question everything you thought you knew. Buckle up, because we're about to explore some paradoxes and uncover some seriously mind-bending evidence. This is going to get weird. We often assume there's a fixed, objective reality out there, a world that exists independently of our own minds. This table I'm leaning on, real, solid, unyielding, or is it? What if I told you that, according to quantum physics, particles exist in a state of superposition, meaning they can be in multiple states at once until we observe them? Think about that. Our observation might actually influence the very fabric of reality. It's like that old thought experiment. If a tree falls in a forest, and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? But instead of sound, we're talking about the actual existence of the tree, the forest, maybe even reality itself. This is where things get really tricky. Philosophers have wrestled with this conundrum for centuries. There's the idea of naive realism, the belief that our senses provide us with a direct, unfiltered experience of the world. But then you have arguments like the brain in a vat thought experiment, which proposes that we could be nothing more than brains hooked up to a computer simulation, fed sensory information that mimics reality. So how can we be sure that what we perceive as real is actually an accurate representation of an objective world? The truth is we can't. It's a question that has stumped the greatest minds, and it's a question that leads us to some pretty wild possibilities. Are we living in a simulation? Are we all just part of a giant cosmic video game? It's enough to make you question everything you thought you knew about the nature of reality itself. But hey, maybe that's the point. Maybe the journey is more important than the destination. Maybe the real truth is that there is no one truth. Or maybe I'm just rambling at this point. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. We like to think we're the masters of our own destiny, that we make choices freely and consciously. But what if our sense of free will is just an illusion, a comforting story we tell ourselves to make sense of the chaos? Neuroscience has some pretty compelling evidence that suggests our brains might be making decisions before we're even consciously aware of them. Studies using brain imaging techniques like fMRI have shown that certain brain regions associated with decision-making light up moments before we consciously choose to act. It's as if our subconscious mind is calling the shots and our conscious mind is just along for the ride. Then there's the influence of genetics, upbringing, and environmental factors, all of which shape our desires, beliefs, and ultimately, our actions. If every decision we make is a product of these predetermined factors, can we truly claim to have free will? But here's the thing, even if free will is an illusion, does it really matter? We still experience the feeling of making choices, of being in control of our lives. And maybe that feeling, that subjective experience, is all that really matters. Think about it. If we truly had no free will, wouldn't life be incredibly boring? No sense of accomplishment, no joy of discovery, no weight to our decisions. It's the illusion of choice that makes life worth living. So the next time you're faced with a decision, big or small, take a moment to appreciate the complex interplay of factors that led you to that moment. Because whether you believe in free will or not, the journey is what makes it all so fascinating. Time. It's the one constant in our lives, right? It marches forward, relentless and unforgiving. But what if I told you that time, as we perceive it, might be nothing more than an illusion, a construct of our own minds? Physics has a thing or two to say about this. Einstein's theory of relativity, for example, suggests that time is not absolute, but rather relative to the observer's frame of reference. This means that time can actually pass at different rates depending on your speed and gravitational pull. Think about that. Time is not a universal metronome ticking away at a constant pace. It's more like a river, flowing at different speeds depending on where you are in the cosmic current. And then there's the concept of space-time, a 4-dimensional fabric where time and space are interwoven. This mind-bending concept suggests that the past, present, and future might all exist simultaneously, like frames in a film reel. So if time is not a linear progression, but rather a dimension we experience subjectively, what does that mean for our understanding of reality? Does it mean that the past is never truly gone and the future is already written? These are the kinds of questions that keep physicists up at night, and frankly, they should probably keep you up at night too. Because if time is not what we think it is, then what is real? What is the meaning of past, present, and future if they are all just different points on a continuum? It's enough to make your head spin, but that's the beauty of exploring these big existential questions. It's in these moments of uncertainty that we truly begin to appreciate the vastness and mystery of the universe. And who knows, maybe by questioning the nature of time itself, we can unlock new secrets about the cosmos and our place within it. Death. It's the ultimate taboo, the one certainty we all share. But what if, and stay with me here, death isn't as certain as we've been led to believe? Now, I'm not talking about some mystical afterlife or spiritual realm. I'm talking about the very real possibility that science might one day cheat death altogether. We're already making incredible strides in understanding the aging process. Researchers are exploring things like gene editing, nanotechnology, and even the potential for consciousness uploading as ways to extend human lifespan indefinitely. Imagine a future where we could potentially live for hundreds, even thousands of years. Sound like science fiction? Maybe. But consider this. Just a century ago, the idea of organ transplantation or space travel would have seemed equally far-fetched. The point is, scientific progress has a way of making the impossible possible. Of course, the ethical implications of extending human lifespan are immense. Would immortality lead to overpopulation, resource depletion, and a whole host of other societal problems? These are questions we need to grapple with as we continue to push the boundaries of science. But for now, let's entertain the possibility, however remote, that death might not be the end. What if we could live long enough to see humanity colonize other planets, unlock the secrets of the universe, or even achieve a state of technological singularity? It's a mind-blowing thought, and it forces us to confront our own mortality in a whole new light. It also reminds us that the future is not predetermined, and that we have the power to shape it through our actions today. Speaking of shaping the future, if you're enjoying this journey into the unknown, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss out on future explorations. And hey, while you're at it, why not leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts on the possibility of immortality? We're taught from a young age that some things are inherently right and others are inherently wrong. But what if the lines between good and evil are blurrier than we think? What if morality is not a fixed set of rules, but rather a fluid concept shaped by culture, upbringing, and even personal experience? Think about it. What might be considered morally acceptable in one culture could be deemed abhorrent in another. Take something like food, for example. Eating beef is commonplace in many parts of the world, but in some cultures it's strictly forbidden. The same goes for things like clothing, social customs, even forms of government. So if morality is relative, how do we navigate a world without absolute moral truths? It's a question that has plagued philosophers and ethicists for centuries. Some argue for a universal moral code based on reason and empathy, while others believe that morality is ultimately a matter of personal conviction. But here's the thing, even if there is no objective right or wrong, that doesn't mean we should abandon all sense of morality. In fact, it makes our choices even more important, because if we are the architects of our own moral compass, we have a responsibility to build it on a foundation of compassion, empathy, and a deep respect for the dignity of all beings. It's not about finding easy answers or following a predetermined set of rules. It's about engaging in thoughtful reflection, challenging our own biases, and striving to make choices that align with our values and contribute to a more just and compassionate world. So we've journeyed through 5 universal truths and discovered that maybe, just maybe, they're not so clear-cut after all. From the nature of reality itself to the very concept of right and wrong, we've seen how questioning our assumptions can lead to some pretty mind-bending possibilities. But here's the thing. It's not about having all the answers. It's about embracing the mystery, the unknown, and the sheer wonder of it all. The universe is a vast and complex place. And the more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. If you found this exploration thought-provoking, hit that like button and share this video with your friends. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious to hear your thoughts on these mind-blowing concepts. And as always, thanks for watching.